What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about compound today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. Here we are at about $52 right now. Nice double bottom that we had on a daily basis. Not a lot of volume coming to the downside. We had a lot of volume here, though, on the buy side, from a high to a low. High to a low, double bottom, nice. I would expect, as we normally do when we move up, it will take a lot less time to retrace this move than it did to form it, right? So I'm expecting that over the coming days, over the coming weeks, we're at 52 bucks now, you guys, probably by the middle of March, if not earlier. Compound's on its way, you guys, so 100 bucks. We're going to see a 100% move here in a very, very short amount of time. Why? Again, it takes a long time to retrace, but it doesn't take a lot of time to pump back up, right? You realize that this whole move from the low to the high, it took us all this time to move down here. It didn't take us, it took us about half that time to move up. I would assume being here now, having a double bottom, crypto's more bullish now than it was back here. I would assume we're going to rip at a rate that we haven't seen in a little bit of time, right? If we look at this on a weekly basis, compound here, also kind of another theory that I have to that. Let's just see if we can find it. Where are you, Ave? Where you at? I know you're here. I probably skipped it. Damn it. Where is Ave? Where is it? Is it lower? What? I thought Ave was like in the top. Let me see. Hold on. I must just be missing it. Maybe I'm blind. Ave, number 33. I guess I didn't go far enough. I don't know. Ave pumped a lot this week. It's already moved up a good bit this week. If we look at it here, it's moving up today still, right? It's had a good week, a good day, a good last 48 hours. Compound is a DeFi protocol, just like Aave. What's good for one tends to be good for the other, right? People are going to look, they're going to see Aave and it's got a really high market cap, and they're going to look for other alternatives. And Compound, I think, is a very good alternative. I'm very much expecting, at least that's my theory, right? I'm very much expecting that Compound, whenever it breaks out of this long accumulation phase that it had, right? Talking about bullish, just look at this thing, man. Look at it, right? I want you to look at it. It's been accumulating, slowly moving up over a very long period of time, right? It's not a bear flag. It's not bearish. It's not bearish consolidation. We're going down. No, man, it is bullish as hell. And every time we're getting a lot of volume, make no mistake, man, it's happening. It's buying volume right here, right here, right here. It's very, very bullish stuff, okay? And as time continues, we are getting higher lows and higher highs. You can see it's accumulating. Once we break out of this range, we will likely rip. And just as I theorized on the daily perspective that we will move up faster than it took us to move down, I would theorize compound literally takes like 1 month or 2 months at the most to retrace what took like a year of moving down. I think by the end of April. And it might sound crazy. If it sounds crazy, I would just say you probably don't know how markets work. You don't, and that's okay if you don't. This is crypto, right? It moves up in a very, very fast amount of time. It doesn't take a lot of time at all to do. And it doesn't mean that just because I wouldn't even say that I know how markets work completely, right? I'm not the most experted person in the world on how markets work, but I've seen this kind of stuff happen before. Believe me, if you move down without resistance and you've accumulated this long, I would expect nothing less than a far more robust move to the upside than what you had on the downside. We will be up here in a matter of months, you guys. Where is up here? Prices that are above $300. We're at $52 now. Prices that are above $400, maybe even upwards to $610. I'm expecting compound goes somewhere between $610 and $430, somewhere in this area. I really like the idea of hitting 500. Nice kind of midway psychological resistance there. Maybe we go to this monthly close here at about 450, 430, somewhere in there. But 52 bucks now, man. When I tell you it's going to rip, I don't mean it in any other form than just straight rocket ship moon mission. Likely is going to provide something on the lines of a 10x or more. At a minimum, I suppose the golden ratio, it could stop there. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me from a price action perspective, but it could stop there. I guess we do have some resistance in this area and prior areas of support, but from this move down, there's just no significance at all, other than it being the golden ratio. So, I mean, that would be still like a 4.2x. That's not bad, right? At a minimum there. But I would think 8x, 11x, something in between there, near a 10x, but maybe not quite at a 10x from here, or just above a 10x would make sense to me. Or of course, maybe I'm not bullish enough and we just rip right on through to new all-time highs. I'm expecting big things for compound, you guys. I'm expecting this month to be huge. I'm expecting next month to be huger, right? It's going to be even bigger. And I think that if we take this high to low and we line up our extensions from this high to low, we'll probably get some, I haven't done this, so I'm just kind of curious to see some congruence. 1618 right there, some resistance, maybe at 300 as a good minimum target. I like that. I would think, okay, we can move up our minimum target probably to $300, which means that the minimum expectation would actually be, come on now, would actually be something on the lines of a 5.7x. Hey, that ain't bad. The 1886 lining up very well with the 786 area, which is kind of what I expect the minimum to be, truthfully. This is the accepted minimum. This is the expected C-Zar minimum at 431. That's, you know, for the people that love me, that's the one that you can count on. For the trolls, that's the area that you can make a joke in the comments and say, so you're telling me we're never going to hit that price because that's what you expect to happen. Whatever, however you want to see it, that is my expected price, though, at a minimum. And then the 2272 here, hitting the 886 same area. It's actually very common if you hit the 2272 not to bounce right off of it, but to go a little bit through it. So when I tell you that there's anything from, at least what I'm expecting by the end of this move, when this whole ordeal is set, anything from an 8x to potentially a 13x, I mean that. And we could go higher. Of course we could. The 2618 is a possible target as well. I don't see Compound doing an 18x, but anything's possible. If we look at Compound, it does have a market cap of $461 million. That's not a terribly high market cap, but it's also not the lowest market cap either. It would be difficult, to say the least. Something, a very large catalyst would have to come into play for Compound in order to see these kind of gains, something that would be greater than like a 15x, much greater than like a 12x. Even that, there'd have to be a pretty big catalyst, I think, for something like this, because at that rate, a 10x from here is basically $5 billion, a 12x or more. Like we're talking about some pretty heavy numbers there. And of course, I don't think it stops there. Compound has higher to grow by the end of the cycle, but this is what we have to look forward to. That's why I'm talking about it now. You want me to talk about the end of the cycle? Okay, we'll talk about the end of the cycle. Let's do that. We're at $52 right now, from a high to a low, of the last cycle high to this current cycle low. I suspect Compound, as much as I love Compound, it's a very large hold of mine. I don't suspect that it's going to be worth over $100 billion this cycle in market cap valuation. I don't suspect that it'll even be worth over $80 billion. If it were to have a maximum potential that I could see in market cap valuation, maybe it could reach just above $80 billion, maybe. And that's not what I'm expecting to happen. That's just what I accept as a possibility. But anything around 80 or above, it starts to get less likely from there. I would expect Compound is above 20 billion by the end of the cycle, is above 40 billion. I'm thinking we'll be right in that sweet spot of like 40 to 80 billion dollars, maybe even above like 60 to 70, maybe somewhere in there. That's kind of what I'm expecting. So if we're at, let's just say, let's round up. I don't know. Let me do it this way. Actually, hold on. Might have to do some math, but 460 is kind of obscure to do math on. So 460 at a 10x would give you a 4.6 billion. At a 100x would give you a $46 billion market cap. Okay, 100x all the way up here. That would put you at about $5,195. Now, I'm not saying you have to hit that, right? That falls in the zone that I'm kind of expecting, right? Above 40 billion, below 80 billion, that falls in that zone. But that doesn't mean you have to hit that, right? By the way of the fibs, it makes sense too, because oftentimes if you interact with the 1414, what you'll do is you will close at the 1414 just below it, but you will wick just above it. So that makes a lot of sense to me. I think Compound really does have 100x potential from here. This is why it's one of my largest holds. This is why I haven't sold any of it. I've only bought more of it anytime that it's below $58. To be completely fair, I haven't bought any more of it down here, but that's because it's one of my largest holds. So I wanted to allocate into other things to branch out. It's good to branch out, you know. I think anybody should. But if you can't handle, on a totally different side note, don't let other people telling you that you need to diversify and make you diversify. Do what you can handle, okay? If you can only handle 2 cryptos, invest in 2 cryptos. There's nothing wrong, you know, if you choose the right one, to invest in one, but you're setting yourself up for more risk that way. So make sure you're investing in something safe, like probably something in the top 20. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. And if it's in the top 20, it better have lived there all cycle, not just been there for a day. It can't be a tourist in the top 20. It has to be a resident, okay? If you're diversified and you want to have 10 coins, that's great. That's fine. If you want 20, 100, there was a guy in the comments that told me he has 200 coins and he's making money doing that. Whatever works. Don't let anybody take you off of your strategy. And if you don't have a strategy, good. Figure it out. Mess around. See what works best for you. See what you can handle. But don't let other people influence that, right? If you can only handle 3 cryptos at a time, there's nothing wrong with that, okay? But maybe if you have lower amounts of diversification capabilities, like you can only do 1 to 3, make sure that there's safer bets. And if you have 3, maybe at least 2 of them are safer bets, and then 1 can be your risky bet. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I'm just talking out loud here, thinking out loud. If we are at 100x, we would see a market cap of $46.1 billion. That's 100x. That would put the price at about $5,200, right? Something right around there. We could go higher. If we went all the way up to the 1618, the golden extension up here, that would be a 158x. That would allow compound. What kind of market cap would that be? I don't know. Google calculator. We'll do 467. Is that what it was? 461, my bad. 461.1 times, what's the multiplier? 158.2. 158.2. So these are millions. So whenever we get to the thousands, that'll be billions, if that makes sense. Okay, so 72. So that would be 72.9 billion. I could see that happening. Right? That's actually below 80 billion. I like that. I like those odds. I could see that happening. But that does get closer to that land of maybe, maybe not. It doesn't have to happen. Just because I'm saying this could happen doesn't mean it will happen. But if you invest in compound, I definitely believe it could see prices at $8,200, $8,200, and at that rate, even though the 1618 is here, maybe the psychological drive to get to $10,000 will push you up a little bit higher. And at this rate, you really are getting to the maximum potential of what I could see having, because that's going to be above 80 billion, or at least right around there. So that becomes less likely. Anything as we get closer to 8,000 and beyond, it becomes less likely that we see that. But of course, I wouldn't be upset. I don't think anybody would be upset if I was wrong on that and we went higher. At a minimum, I really do think that 4,000 is a very doable target. Sure, 2,400 is a doable target. And what I love about compound is its minimum new all-time high expectation would be something of about a 45x, 46x, and then the maximum is just like crazy 100 and technically it could be 180x. Who knows? But I really am expecting something from here to be closer to a 100x by the end of the cycle. If not, then that's okay. I think that we will have a better understanding. Right now, it's kind of obscure. I don't really have strong confidence in anything in this area. I just have confidence that we will at least hit this. That confidence can change. That can all change. It depends on how we move on this next move, right? If the rest of the crypto markets move up, they do a 3 to 4x, which is what I'm expecting over the next 2 months. The average crypto does a 3 to 4x, or maybe even more than that. And compound is only here at $235. I guess actually that would be pretty average, wouldn't it? If it did that, that's cool, but I wouldn't even think at that point that you see $2,400, right? Because if you're moving up on average with the average coin, then you probably top off like the average coin does, which is going to be something on like a 20x or so from here. You might double top instead of seeing like truly new all-time highs, right? So we want this move to be rather robust is all I'm trying to say. We'll better understand where we're going to go, what our target destination is, I think, by the end of this move, okay? The stronger, the better, the more likely we are to see these higher targets. We're at $51.88 now. I'm sure there's a lot of people who think 8,000 is impossible, but I have a feeling that over the next 2 months, that sentiment's going to change a lot. DeFi is big, you guys. It's very big, and it's only going to get bigger. This is the institutional cycle. DeFi is what will put the institutions out of business unless they adapt and innovate DeFi themselves or cooperate to some degree. So I have a feeling that they themselves will be investing in things like compound. Compound is also, it's like a DeFi project that's not a DeFi project. So it's like really not that decentralized. So that actually might be even more keen for institutional players to get themselves involved with, right? The guise of decentralization. Anyways, hit the like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy. Bye-bye.